we're all looking for guarantees in love. I mean, when you're dating somebody, part of the reason that you need more, you want to ask them more questions about their past is because you don't want to make a mistake, especially in the early part before you really are sure that this person is the real thing that you're feeling. It's very common that we get locked into this idea, how much can I know, what should I ask? As a therapist, I see a lot of couples who end up asking their partners something about their past, something about their life before they knew them, that when they find out, they're so upset. And then they judge it and they make allegations about the person and they make projections about how this person's going to be in the future with them. And it turns into more problems than you can imagine. So as a therapist, I've decided that I want to talk to you guys about doing some self-reflection about why you want to know the things you want to know about your partner from the past. But before I do that, I'm going to tell you some things that I personally would be curious and would have to ask just because I know myself and the kind of person I am. The first thing is I want to know their marriage history. Like, have they been married before? And how many times? And I don't care how young they were. I just want to know. It just makes me feel better if I know that this person vowed to love somebody in the past forever and then it didn't work out, how it was with them. And a lot of times when people ask that question, they're really disappointed because a person might, as they tell the story, they're going to tell you, I've been married 3 times. And then it's almost impossible not to judge it. But I would still want to know it up front. Secondly, I want to know about their friend history. Like, do they have friends that they dated somebody who was their friends in the past? Like, if I was with somebody and I found out they had dated a really good friend of mine, I would have to say that that would be important to me because it might change the way I felt about this friend, and it also may make it awkward at certain times. So this is something I don't want to be blindsided about. I just want to know, had they ever dated anybody that knew me or was close, a friend of mine, what they considered a friend of mine from the past. And then I'd want to know a little bit about how well they commit. So I want to know how long they dated. Like, when they dated, did they date a long time? That means a lot. And why does that mean a lot? If this is a person I really care about and I'm considering a long-term relationship with them, I want to make sure this person can commit. If I'm the first person that they've ever really dated, then I'm not saying it's a deal breaker. I'm just saying I'd want to know so that I could judge. I would use that for judging, I guess, but so that I could judge if we had an argument or if we had a misunderstanding, how they may have perceived something. Since they didn't have experience with dating before, would make a difference to me. And I think I would be more compassionate and understanding and maybe patient with them. So that would be important. But overall, the first thing I want to tell you, if you really want to know about somebody's past before they knew you, it's important that when you ask them, you are ready for the answer. And that you don't judge them necessarily as cruel or bad for you just because how they were with someone else before they ever knew you. For example, before I met my husband, I dated a lot of people, and sometimes I dated more than one person at a time. And that's considered cruel, right? But I would never do that to my husband. I grew up and I got married to him and I've been with him forever. So if he were to have judged me forever for that area of my life, I would have never had a relationship or a beautiful marriage with him. And that's why it's important. Secondly, past problems aren't always indicative of what you're going to have now or in the future. So if they tell you an issue they had, maybe they cheated on somebody from the past, okay, that's pretty bad. But just because they did that with someone else before they met you when they were dating doesn't mean they're going to do that to you. They may have woken up. They may have something completely different than you. So in therapy, we usually say past behaviors usually project what you're going to get in the future. And for many things, that is true. But it's not necessarily true with dating. And it's important you keep that stipulation in there. Do you have the right to know? Like, do you have the right to know how they felt about their past lover or the person they were closest to? I think it's important that you ask yourself that. And why do you have the right? Why do you want to know? It's important that you do that self journey so you understand. If you say, well, I think it'll make me feel closer to them than if I know, then that's important. And I would preface my asking them with that. But if it was just something that I just curious and wanted to know, not sure I would with that one. Would you want your partner asking you? If you were going to ask your partner a sensitive thing, would it be okay if they asked you? I think when we ask ourselves that before we say something or ask a question, it really helps. And I also want to remind you, if you're asking a woman questions, it can feel, she can feel good about you, like you're interested, you're listening. If you ask a guy a lot of questions, many times they'll get defensive because most guys may carry more guilt or shame if they feel like they did something in the past that was wrong, and they may not be as open to answering your question. It may be too many emotions that they haven't even processed, and so they're going to need a little bit more time with that. Is asking your partner personal questions considered a bad thing in a relationship? Not at all. I have had to evaluate relationships based on where the couple is and what I find is when they communicate, why they want to know, what about it, and usually if it's to enhance and deepen their relationship now with each other, it's going to work in your benefit. But just so you know, before you ask, get out a sheet of paper and write down the answer to these 3 questions. The first, why do I want to know? What will it change for yourself, for you? And do you think it'll change the other person? That's still the same question. What can it change, good or bad, for the relationship? And I think when you write those down, and then depending on your answers, if it's going to be good, if it's for a good reason, preface the question with, I think this is going to help me love you more if I know this answer, or if you can talk about this. And then usually it works out in the relationship's benefit.